Hey everybody, welcome to the Paula Peralta Show, and I'm your host, Paula Peralta, in case you didn't know. And I'm here with one of my favorite people, maybe in the whole wide world. And I have known Sabrina for like years.
Yeah.
Like OG, like years and years. And we like recently just reconnected. I feel like we've always been kind of fans of each other on social media. But I asked Sabrina to come talk to us today because she's one of the people that I think is doing it right in business. And by doing it right, I mean, she's doing it her way. Sorry to talk about it like you're not here. But I think one of the reasons that I really wanted to have this conversation, like I said, is because you've, over the years, created a business like year after year that works for you instead of like you slaving and working for your business. And that's just, I know from the outside looking in. But I really admire that about you. And so I want to talk about a lot of the kind of the ins and outs there.
Okay.
So welcome, Sabrina, to the Paula Peralta Show.
Thank you. What a welcome. Thank you so much.
So cheers to you and
Cheers.
creating business the way that you want to create it. I don't know if we could do this.
I'm like afraid of these glasses now. Where are these glasses from again?
They're somewhere from like Eastern Europe. They're from like the 1800s. Those flowers are hand painted. I went to a castle in Italy, as one does, a while ago, and they had these like coupes that were made from the same maker, like the colored glass and the hand painting, and I loved them, fell in love, and I couldn't find them, but I found these. Gorge. And so, yeah, I love them. So this is a special occasion, so I brought them out just for you.
Those are beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about like your business.
What do you want to know?
I mean, we want to know everything. Yes, it's that kind of show. So let's start with just tell the people about yourself. Where you from? What you doing?
So I'm from Worcester, Ohio, Amish country. I'm not Amish. Sometimes people get confused about that. But I'm from a very blended family. So I grew up in between Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, and Virginia, but mainly Ohio. The second place would be Michigan. My dad still lives in Detroit. My mom still lives in Worcester. I have a ton of siblings, super close. Started doing hair. I don't really remember when I started doing hair. I went to Paul Mitchell in Sterling Heights. And then I was there for maybe 3 months. And then some crazy things happened. So then I was without a home, moved to Cincinnati because that was the next closest at the time. I met this girl at a party. Her name's Noelle. Shout out to her wherever she is in the world.
What up, Noelle?
Ended up like couch surfing or whatever. I started working at just like a few like a restaurant. Spray Top Cider was like a store. Started going to school at Paul Mitchell, Cincinnati. Finally graduated from there. Then I moved to Rhode Island. And then from Rhode Island, I moved back to Michigan. And then I lived... What do I do, right? What a long story board.
She's been on the move from the jump, is what I'm learning.
For a really long time. Finally got to Michigan again. Then I was living like in the hood, but it's actually like, it's like up and coming now.
We call that gentrification.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, and I was living in a house that like, we didn't like technically legally have electricity, so they turned it off. So then
you've seen some shit is what you're telling me.
Yeah, so then I moved out, started squatting, then I started working seriously in a salon. Then I went to Chicago and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this thing seriously. So then I moved to Chicago and I've been there ever since. So I went to Chicago in 2015 and I've been doing hair consistently. No squatting, no couch surfing.
Full electricity on.
Electricity paid for. I haven't done my taxes this year yet. Filed an extension. But yeah,
so you're
we're
basically
legal. We're in it.
Like, you're just living your best life.
Very legal these days. Yeah.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with just, do what you gotta do to get by sometimes.
But we met somewhere in there when I was going to Paul Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
That's like at the time that I met you the first time.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day and trying to remember where were we when we first met? I think, and I can't, I don't have a I can't remember the first time we met. Do you remember?
I remember when I was introduced to who you were.
Oh, okay.
And you were like, so cool.
Well, I always thought you were so cool.
But I was in school when I first knew who you were. But I don't know the first time we got connected because I worked at a Paul Mitchell salon. So I was like, Paul Mitchell everything.
Yeah.
So like any Paul Mitchell event I could go to, I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember always how like vivacious and like bubbly you were, and just like sassy as hail, which is like 1000% probably how I would describe myself. So.
In the Paul Mitchell days, they would call me a resistor for that.
Well, seriously. Anyway, so shout out to systems. Sometimes they're empowering and sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
Room for improvement. Okay, so you're currently killing it in Chicago. I actually was just in Chicago and saw your space. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's so stunning. And I know you've had many a challenge in that process.
So I just opened a salon downtown Chicago in River North. And honestly, I feel like you're not a real business owner if shit doesn't hit the fan. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like you're not a real business owner if shit doesn't hit the fan when you open. Like,
or if you haven't had plumbing issues at least twice.
You're supposed to have a story, and I'm happy to have a story. I really thought it was going to be so, like, smooth sailing. I was like, XYZ, here we go. And then, yep,
And here we are. Okay, so let's talk about this. I kind of keyed it up, but so for me, one of the things that I love about you on social media is your commitment to aesthetics. First of all, aesthetics on point.
Thank you.
Like fire, all the flames.
Appreciate it.
Like aesthetics, yes, like goals. And then the other thing is like how transparent you are about running your business from the back end of like, we've got plumbing issues today. And also on the front end of like, here's what it costs if you want to sit in my chair.
Yeah.
So let's talk about aesthetics first. Cause you are a whole ass vibe. So I think what I'm curious about is, and if you haven't gone to Sabrina's social media, we'll post it in the comments. This is on YouTube, by the way, if you didn't know, if you want to see the video, because I'm just saying you need to see the video. But let's talk about aesthetics. So have you always been someone that's been like super into aesthetics? Is that something that developed?
I don't really know when it necessarily developed. I haven't always had good style, that's for sure.
Same.
That's unfortunate, but so I think I would say I probably thought I always had good aesthetics, but I didn't always have a good aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I was always very true to myself.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So that's good. I just really enjoy it. Like, I just enjoy, like, if you went to my house, you open my fridge, like, all of my drinks are lined up perfect. Like, I'm a Virgo.
Mm-hmm.
So
Perfectionist.
I really like perfectly done things, and it'll keep me up at night. Like if I know like the orange juice row is mixed up with the sparkling water row, I'll get out of bed and change it. So it's like in my soul. I can't not change it.
Okay, but let's talk about, so like you go to your salon, and which is called Basement. You can see that it has its own Instagram. You can also find Sabrina the Hair Witch, which I'm mad that that's not my Instagram handle, but whatever. So, but you go in and it's like this beautiful, like perfect shade of green, and then the countertops are like coordinated because there's this matching like marble that has green in it.
Oh, you noticed that? Thank you.
Also appreciates an aesthetic. Like, I mean, I'm not a walking, talking Pinterest board like you are, but I can appreciate.
Oh yeah, right. You got the dog on the loud chilling. I wish my dog would be chilling up to sit with me through a conversation.
It's true. Actually, it's true. I'm gonna take that back. And say like I have an eye for aesthetics. I appreciate them. I'm just not always as committed to like the execution and the implementation, but yeah, so it's beautiful, and it just like all works and it flows and things like that. And I'm always just so curious with creatives, like, was it something that you're like, okay, this needs to be a vibe, or like, how did you go about the process of creating that? I
think everyone has an aesthetic, whether or not they call it that. Everyone has a natural aesthetic. Everyone does. You can, if you're committed to your lifestyle, you might not know you are, but you are. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you choose, you just are. It's kind of like the word diet, how like when you think of the word diet, you think of a specific thing that people eat. Everyone has a diet. Your diet could be pizza and whatever you want it to be, but you have a diet just like you have an aesthetic. So for me, like when I was building my salon, there were a few things that I knew I wanted. I knew I wanted an artist lounge because the industry in general, but especially Chicago, is moving towards like independent artistry. And I wanted a space to like sit down, edit videos, eat lunch, have a couch, vibe out. Like I wanted a place like that. So I knew I wanted to build like an artist lounge and not have like a back room with brooms and where you're like mixing color and someone else is eating their lunch and like standing up. So that was really important to me, like space wise. And then the marble I found in Detroit, I fell in love with it. I went to the shop. I really was just looking. I knew I wanted really, I knew the things that I liked. I didn't want my salon to be all white. I wanted there to be color, but I didn't know what color. So I was just looking for natural stone. I love green. It just comes to me. I'm manifesting some money right now. Yeah, so I love green. And then I knew that I wanted the waiting area not to be in the front. Like I didn't want to have a bench in the front because I'm a client at a lot of places and I hate the feeling of like sitting by the front desk and just like, feeling awkward. So I wanted to make the waiting area feel like a really vibey living room or a lounge where you would like actually sit in a comfortable chair, have something to look at, and if your stylist is running late, you're not annoyed about it because you've got your drink, you've got your comfortable chair, you're like staring at something beautiful and you feel like you're at home. So that's the vibe that I knew that I wanted.
Okay.
And I live in Chicago, so it's really dark most of the year when I'm working because I'm not an early riser. I start work at 11:30. So like May to September, beautiful like lighting. The rest of the year, it could be gloomy. It gets dark early. By my second client, it's really dark. So I also knew that I wanted a basement because I wanted to be able to build artificial light so that every color looked really, really consistent. Because I worked at beautiful spaces with a lot of windows, but it would be pitch black and it was so hard to like really see the true color. And I was just over the like, oh yeah, I'm like when it's in the sun vibe. I just wanted it to be like right now.
You're like convincing them that their hair looks great, even though neither of you could actually see it. You're just like, but you're gonna, when you finally see it, you're gonna love it.
But it's fire. Like, promise you. Yeah. So I just wanted really consistent light. So yeah, I had a few things that I knew I wanted, but as far as like the aesthetics of it all, I know what I like and I'm crazy about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone if they're like, I don't really have like a style or I don't know what my aesthetic is? Like how do you even get started with finding your style?
I would say first, what makes you feel good is the most important thing. I would never, ever, ever follow a trend unless it's something that you actually like. If what you like is trending, that's cool. But what makes you feel good? So when it comes to like clothing, like if you feel good in crop tops, you should wear the crop top. If you feel good in dresses over pants, then you should wear dresses. Also, like if you feel good in prints and you want like, your energy really introduces you. For me, I feel like my hair introduces me before anything else. So like I feel really loud when I wear a lot of prints and I just feel way more myself if I'm like muted because like I up here am not muted. So down here I like to be a little bit more muted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think what feels good is important. And then I think putting it together, never try to copy somebody else because like I love all your plants in here. I just actually, if they were real, I can't keep a plant alive to save my life. I just can't. I obviously don't love it. I don't know what I'm doing. So there's like a lot of like, when you look up like aesthetic on Pinterest, you'll see like bright lights, California, Arizona, but I live somewhere that's dark. I didn't want to have like this surfer, clean white vibe because you're in a city. So I really like urban street style. So I wanted to lean into that. So I think like what makes you feel good and what makes you feel like yourself. my favorite thing ever is people come in and they always go, "This is so you." And I think that's such a good compliment.
Totally.
So like when somebody walks into your space, you want them to feel like it's your personality on walls.
1000%.
You know, your clothes are your personality just on your body. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
we're totally aligned with that. I think too, the other thing that's really interesting is, and I'm so interested to see what your perspective on this is that for me, like, especially growing up as like a plus size woman, a woman of color, like kind of almost this like man without a country, like whenever I look to like other people for aesthetics, more often than not, I don't see myself represented.
Facts.
And so it's like, yeah, like,
is that exciting though?
Yeah, right, because then we are the vibe.
I am the party.
Like, I am the aesthetic.
Yeah, I think it makes some people sad, but I love it. I love when I walk down the street, ain't nobody looking like me.
Right?
Nobody looks like me.
Okay, so let's actually unpack that for just a second, because I think it took me a really long time to get to that point where I was like, yeah, look, I am the party. And I know that no one looks like me, and seeing that not as like a detriment, but as a superpower.
Yeah.
And like using that to actually show up in spaces and to have conversations or just to be who I am and be so comfortable and like in my skin and in my body and like in my energy, and knowing that like people are gonna fucking fall in love. Like,
where'd you grow up?
In Washington State.
Okay, so for me, I grew up being one of the only black people ever.
Yeah, no, same. Like I white. Like it was all white.
Yeah, so Amish
kids.
country is super, super white, obviously. And then I grew up in Detroit, where it's not white, but it's always been, from my perspective, it was always super celebrated. I was very used to like Black-owned businesses weren't something that like needed a sticker to say this is Black-owned. Like it was very normal to see Black people doing well. But I went to school in Worcester, Ohio. So for me, I'm also in a very blended family. I'm the only like fully Black woman in like my siblings. So my sisters are white passing. They're only 18 months older than me. Super close, but like I was always the Black one, the dark skinned one, which is hilarious because if you really like to the world, like if I'm like outside, I'm not dark skinned, but I grew up being the dark skinned one in a really white town. Like I would always, it's not funny, but it's funny.
I'll probably laugh.
Okay. So my like high school, we would have the like KKK would write an inward hit list every year.
What?
Yeah. And they would put it like on.
I won't laugh.
You're going to laugh.
What?
I promise you.
Okay.
You're already laughing. Awkward laugh's going to turn into funny laugh.
Okay.
They would write everyone's name on it. And at some point, my sisters would not make the list. But I would make the list.
No.
Yeah. And like certain mixed people wouldn't make the list. But I was always on the list. And I just knew from the beginning that I was different. And for some reason, I thought it was cool. Not the list. That I was different.
But okay, that's actually really cool because you knew you were different, but you never saw it as like you never wanted to make yourself small because of it. You always were just like, listen, I'm showing up. It's me. Hello world.
No, because I was good at shit too.
Yeah.
And if it came down to it, like, if we squaring up, like cause you're not stepping to me. You can talk your shit in the bathroom on the list, but you ain't doing nothing. Let's see what them hands do. Yeah. Yeah. If it comes down to it.
It's so funny because I had such the opposite. Like, I was always such a lover. And,
really?
But now that I'm older.
My mom is a gangster. I'm not kidding. My mom is a straight up G. My dad is super nice. Bubbly. He wears Christmas sweaters all December. My mom is an intellect. She is the smartest person that I will ever know. She has emotional intelligence, and she is intelligent, and she's a gangster, and she will whoop your ass.
That is so amazing.
She will. So I grew up with a good balance.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. A
good balance of trauma and a good balance of excitement.
Yeah, because the trauma makes you funny.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that.
But yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know why. But I feel like in my town, if you weren't that way, if you were in my position, the Black girl in the not like fully everyone is black looking family in the white town and you don't act like you're about it,
Yeah.
I don't know how you would survive, to be honest. Like mentally, I don't think I could have mentally got through it without, you know.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I get that. And I feel that in a lot of ways. It's so interesting you use it, but they might square up.
Yeah. You want to talk about it?
You're about to be about it.
Yeah, for real. No, yeah.
No one's gonna come for you.
When I was growing up, there wasn't like a lot of social media and stuff like that. So it was still like meet me on the hill at 3:00 if you really have something to say. You know what I mean? There wasn't like internet bullying. So like you could not, like, you're not going to bully me. Because and my sisters.
That's true.
My sisters are about it. And they were 1 year older than me. They're twins. They're tall as hell. Like, I don't know. I think I felt very like protected. So I've been talking shit since I was a kid. My whole life.
Okay, so I actually think this is like a perfect segue for me because I feel like you represent that way on social media. Like, because you say what you need to say, and it's like you can take it and you can use it to grow and better yourself, or you cannot. And that either way, you're totally fine with that. But you're still going to say what you say. And one of the things, and we've talked about this, but like, I love that you do the like price transparency conversation on your social where like, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, go to Sabrina the Hair Witch and you're going to see it. But like, I remember the first time you dropped that first price transparency post and it like broke the internet.
People were salt.
But okay, will you talk a little bit about like what that is and maybe like what prompted it?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, when I started doing hair, I worked at an a la carte salon and people would get really shocked at the price. So they would be like, oh, I came for a highlight. The highlight's supposed to be $100. First of all, never, but you know, it's supposed to be $100. But then like the toner is $50 and then the haircut is another $50 and then the treatment is $20, let's say, right? So now you went from $100 to $220, which is double someone's budget of what they came in. For me, when I did price transparency, it wasn't necessarily for the internet. It's for the person that's on my page that wants to be a client. Like, there's no BS. This is what it costs. I don't want somebody to come in with $500 and then they want extensions and they want this and that. And then we build it up, because if you're getting a highlight, 9 times out of 10, you need a toner or a treatment or both. So instead of playing games, like, I just like to tell you this is exactly what it's going to be, because I don't like to explain during the blow dry why something costs what it costs.
Yeah.
I want you to know before. And I think it's just good for people to have an educated awareness of like, this is what it's going to cost to keep this up. At the end of the day, it's not just one time. So if you want to keep this going, this is how much it's going to cost. And it's a better way to stop having awkward conversations about budget, because everyone has a budget, just like everyone has an aesthetic. And some people can feel ashamed about their budget. So I think that having a transparent conversation on my end as a provider helps people to open up to say like, hey, like, I love that you share how much things cost. This is how much I have to spend. What could I do with that? Rather than, and then you can build off of their budget.
Yep.
So maybe you want to be platinum. You really want to be platinum. I charge $400 and you have to come every 4 to 5 weeks to stay platinum. If you play games, I'm not gonna fix it. If you contact me in 13 weeks, I'm really not gonna do it. I'm just not. I'm not about it, because I don't want to do a color correction again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you know it's gonna cost hair length, color, what kind of process. It's probably gonna run you like $2,500 to go from dark to platinum in a day with me. Then you're gonna pay $400 every 4 to 5 weeks. If you're like, that's cool, but probably not for me. Then we can talk about, okay, so we could do a balayage, foilage, really. I really do foil placement. And we can get your ends super platinum. We can do a money piece that's really platinum. We can literally make you platinum with a purposeful root you can grow that baby out for, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It's still going to look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then I can work with your budget in that way. So maybe your budget isn't $400 every 5 weeks, but your budget might be $400 every 3 months or every 6 months. So that's the reason why I started putting it out there. And of course, like, everyone that follows you sees it if the algorithm is on your side. But I really want those people who don't understand what it's going to be like to sit in my chair to know before they get there that this is what it costs.
For sure. And even for me, like, as a young hairdresser, as a new hairdresser, I really struggled with, like, telling people, and this is how much your service is going to be. Like, there is, like, even on the hairdresser side, a lot of times where we feel weird about money because we're hustling in the salon, but we're not making the money that we're pulling in on services, or, like, there's a lot of struggling hairdressers out there. And for me, one of the turning points of that, like, that got me out of the struggle was getting comfortable in a consultation saying at the front, like, at the jump, like, because this is what you want, here's what it's going to cost. And they're like, oh, like, I was hoping, 400 or 500. I'm like, okay, cool. So for 400 or 500, here's what we can do.
Right. And I think that being a client, when I first started out, I was flat broke for a minute.
Same.
But the more that I became a client, getting my nails done, like, I was so broke that, how people are broke but their nails are fire? That was not your girl. I was
broke.
Exactly.
Broke.
When I became a client, I started getting facials. I started getting my nails done. I started going to restaurants that required reservations.
She living the good life.
I was like, oh, I started to receive service that was a lot more elevated than I was giving, to be honest. And when I went and got my facials, I knew what it was going to cost before I did it. And even when I wasn't making a ton of money, my skin was one of the most important things to me. I would rather, like, eat cheap and have good skin, because I've struggled with acne for so long, that if my esthetician was like, you need to do microneedling, shout out to Dana, God bless you. And it's going to be microneedling with a chemical peel, and it's going to be $500, and I know I'm going to tip her 20%. I would rather know that and budget the way that I need to budget to be able to pay that price before I got there. I really don't think people are upset about paying a lot of money. I think they're upset that they don't know that when they come in.
Yep.
I don't think it's always the client's job to have expectations. It's not fair when you're not in an industry to know what things cost. So, like, if you ask a photographer, how much are your family portraits? I don't think that's an offensive thing to ask. How am I supposed to know what you charge? And a client might see a photo that they really like on Instagram or Pinterest, but they don't know how much it costs. And I don't think they should feel uncomfortable asking how much it is. So I think that if you slide in my DMs and you say how much, like, the chances of me opening it are
slim to none. Probably zero.
I don't really, I don't really like the DMs, just because I think I have text anxiety. I don't like texting. I don't like DMs. I'm a very big phone call person. But, like, in a consultation, that's why I try to put it out there too. Like, you can find my prices online on my website. I put it out there because I want people to know this is how much it is, because I know people who are willing to spend thousands on extensions, and they work at Trader Joseph's. Okay. And if they want the extensions, they want the extensions. They just want to know how much.
Yeah.
They just want a budget.
Right. I love that. And I think too, that price transparency, there's a couple of ways that can show up. Like, your website, I know, is really clear. You put your price transparency posts, which also are a game changer. And then also, one of the things that I've really actually started to lean into quite a bit are forms in my booking system. So I use Vagaro, and one of the things that I love and one of their, like, best tools is forms. So you can send a form to someone, like basically like a new client booking request. Cool. And you can ask all of those questions, like, where's your hair currently? Where is it that you'd like your hair to be? Like, what's your target? How much are you looking to spend? Like, and I think that kind of starts to, like, break the ice in terms of having this money conversation. So, like, for you're using the internet, but, like, what does that look like? Or you're using your social media, but what does that look like when you've got a new guest and they're like, hey, I want to book with you? Like, what's that process look like?
Yeah, there's a new client form. So they have to fill out the new client form. And then my twin brother, Jordan, we work together. He does everything on the back end when it comes to admin. I'm trash at that. I shouldn't do it. I stay away from it. If I can't even answer DMs, like I'm definitely not reading the new client form. So we have like a system where you fill out the new client form and it has those questions of like, you have to submit a picture of what your hair looks like now, an inspiration picture. What do you like about this photo? Because once I was traveling to New York and someone I knew had dark hair submitted a photo of this like super platinum bang, and I knew she had virgin hair, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool, but it'll be like a day rate. So we actually had to reach out to her like, hey, like we're gonna have to put a deposit down for a day rate. And then she was like, oh, really? I just like the bangs. We're like, got it.
So it wasn't even a color.
It wasn't.
Request.
So we had to like adjust to start asking things like that. Help to start asking the right questions. So like, this is a picture.
It's the difference
you
between
like
$2,500 and like $200.
Facts. And I would have not booked anybody else all day.
Right. Maybe you would have only made $200.
Exactly. So then I started like tailoring the questions to, like, you know, are you interested in extensions? What method? How often do you get your hair done? Hair history. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think anytime there's like communication, I don't think over communication can be a thing before you start getting to work on someone's hair.
I'm also not like, I don't know how to say that. My mom used to always say there's nice and there's kind.
Yeah.
I'm not nice.
Yeah.
Like I know that. My voice, my tone isn't nice. Like it's not like, oh my God, hey babe, like welcome, like how are you? I'm so happy you're here. And I'm not against that. It's just not naturally me. So I know that the way that I speak, and I sometimes intimidate people, and I'm really not trying to. So I like to break down every awkward barrier that there could be between me and you before I'm touching you above your shoulders for the next 3 hours.
That pump is going to be primed.
Like, this is going to be a good time. I'm going to talk some shit. We're going to laugh. It's going to be great. But let's get anything that can make you feel uncomfortable. And I know now that people are afraid to ask me certain things because I just present very like, I don't know.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to address it for them so that we can make sure. I don't want anyone in the car crying in the club because they didn't like it, but they didn't have the confidence to tell me that they didn't like it. So I think when you know you have a certain personality type, you have to be aware and you have to kind of give that to people and open that door for them so that they know like, hey, this is a safe place. I know that I come off a little gangster, but I'm not.
Because I am. Don't square up, but you can't ask for
Amish country, Ohio, but we can square up anytime. But yeah, I have to like kind of open it up to like, hey, you can be comfortable here. And I know what people usually want to know. They want to know, how much is this? How much is it going to cost? How often do I have to come back? And how long is it going to take? Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I think too, like, one of the things that you said about just communication with your clients, like I always tell people, like, listen, I am a diva and I do have an ego, but I will never be a diva or have an ego when it comes to you loving your hair. Right. If you don't love it, just tell me.
It's yours.
Like, yeah, you're paying for it. So if you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. And we'll talk about what you don't like or why you don't like it. And I'll tell you what the possibilities are.
I'm actually so grateful when people give me the opportunity to fix their hair 1000%. If there's something they don't like. It's not about if I like it. If you don't like something I did and you come back to me, it's like, that means that you trust me enough that you know that I can do what you want. Because if somebody does your nails and they're horrible, there's a point where sometimes they're so bad that you're like, she does not. She like the fact that it went, like it went this, the fact that it went this left means that there ain't no fixing it. But if it was just like, man, I really like these, but I wish they were XYZ, that means like, okay, I have faith that you can do what I want, but we just weren't connecting. Yeah. So when somebody's like, hey, Sabrina, I really wanted my bangs to be shorter. I really thought that this would be blonder. It actually maybe boosts my ego. Like, oh, you trust your girl to come back. Like, I'd rather you come and let me fix it than go to someone else and say like, oh, my last hairdresser just couldn't get it right. Because we never always get it right. Yeah. So I like when people give me the opportunity to fix it.
I love that. Amen. Okay, so I want to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Like rapid fire.
Knew it.
Are you ready?
Knew it.
Um,
Let me drink some water.
okay, hydrate, because this is important.
Okay, ready.
Okay, so what is your favorite thing about yourself?
Shoot, rapid fire. Personality, physically.
D, all of the above.
Oh my gosh, my personality. I love that I'm unapologetically myself. I cannot not be myself. I don't even know how.
I love that.
Physically, I don't know. I've been working on these shoulders.
You know, with the shoulders.
Shoulder lean. Yeah. I really like my shoulders. And my nose.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
She loves. We're all about the self-love here.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What's something that you would tell your younger self? Like, what's a piece of advice?
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make. It's better than you thought.
Right.
It's even better than you thought.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's a good one. Okay, so what's like your favorite place to go if you're not working and you're traveling and you want to like just nurture your soul? Where are you gonna
go? If I'm local in Chicago and I have the day off, I love going to the Riverwalk because it doesn't matter how long I've lived there, like looking around and seeing the buildings and being like, damn, like I dreamt of this for so long. Such a great feeling. And if I'm not working and I can go, honestly, I love going back to Detroit. I love going home to my dad's backyard, like with just the neighborhood, barbecue, pools open.
So we love a cookout.
Like my dad bought this house that was foreclosed in Detroit. Shout out Detroit. The backyard was so full of like weeds, it looked like a jungle. It was a pool that was grown over. The bank didn't even know. There were so many trees and weeds. That's
what we call a blessing.
Right. Spent years like digging it up, like cleaning it up, cutting down trees. And then the neighbors are super dope. They're a family now. We like open Christmas presents together. They took down their fence. So now like the neighborhoods are combined. And then we just have these huge barbecues. The neighbors got a hot tub. My dad has a pool. They put up a gazebo every year. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. What like makes you laugh? Like if you just, are there things like a type of sense of humor or a comic or like...
My twin brother Jordan, if you're ever with us together, I cry. I literally cry. I think he's the only person that can clown me like correctly. Like he roasts me so well. He reads me so well. And I think I'm very sarcastic. And yeah.
I love that.
And I like Friday type of movies. Like
yeah.
That will make me laugh
like,
anytime.
Black humor.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, and then what's one of the things that you love about the beauty industry?
Diversity. I love that, I think the conversation of standard of beauty, like the Western America's standard of beauty is such a huge conversation. But I think being a creative in the beauty industry, you don't have to subscribe to that. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Like red hair, curly hair, dreadlocks, whatever you want. Like there's so many flavors. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And not only do you not have to subscribe, but you actually have a hand in dismantling it.
100%.
Like, and that's I think it's a cool capacity that hairdressers have that they don't even really think about.
100%. Like, I think it's cool that if you go to my page, I do a lot of non-black hair and people are always like really surprised about it. I don't know why. They like me. I don't know why. I do the hair that pays me,
Listen.
So when people come in, there's so many people who are non-black that are like, I've always wanted to dread like my hair. And I'm like, I wonder how many times you thought about that or if you're just looking at me right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you're paying $2,000 for me to put these extensions in your hair, you surely could pay $2,000 to have somebody dread it, you know?
Yeah.
But I love that when people come to see me, they see me being authentic. I love my 4C kinky hair, and you can love your fine, straight, see-through blonde hair. That's okay. And I love that, like, sitting in my chair, we can do what your hair naturally does. Like, We can diffuse it, we can straighten it, we can blow it out, we can leave it natural. I love that there's so much diversity in our industry, and that I also came up in the industry at a time where women were starting to lean into their natural hair and stop the straightener every day. And I love that I got to be a part of helping people see like that their curly hair is beautiful, and that their curly hair can curl the way they think they can. They just don't have the right products or the right tools. They don't know how to set their curls right. They don't know how to do a twist out. And I love being a part of the journey of people being themselves.
Yeah, discovering their beauty.
Yeah, and discovering like, this is what I actually could look like. This grows out of my head. I think there's a lot of people that are shocked who didn't even know they had curly hair. They literally don't know, which is nuts.
True. That's true.
Because they got out of the shower and they blow dried it immediately, and they just had no idea that their hair even had a wave in it.
Yeah. No, that's true for sure. That's real as a hairdresser. What's something that you're like looking forward to in the future? Like, are there any goals that you have, or just
professionally?
Like, sure, or personally.
Man, my word for the year is just cruise. I'm just trying to vibe this year.
I'm just about the vibes.
I'm just trying to vibe this year. I feel like I've had so many goals, and I feel like I've had so many, like I've always been like reaching for another thing. And I'm just at this really strange, beautiful place in my life where I don't want to miss what I have, because I'm always trying to work for the next thing. Like, I live...
That's real.
In like the apartment of my dreams. I have the salon of my dreams. I have the friends of my dreams. I have the family of my dreams. And like, I remember wanting what I had 3 years ago and not realizing that I had it. And after going through all the problems with like the plumbing and stuff and opening my salon, my family showed up. My dad was at my salon until 3:30 in the morning, like building things out, fixing what the contractor broke. And it was amazing to like be playing music at 3:00 in the morning with my dad in a good attitude. Like, we're building something that I never even thought I could have. And I just want to enjoy it right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a goal. I don't want to plan anything. I feel like I'm going to miss the magic if I keep on putting these stipulations. So I'm just trying to enjoy life right now.
I love that for you. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Cheers to just vibing.
Cheers to vibing.
I love it. Okay. So one last thing. I don't know if you know about me. You might.
I'm excited.
So I love Crocs.
First of all... are those your fancy Crocs that you wore to Chicago?
Those are just like a pair of Crocs.
How many do you have?
Let's not talk about that. But I love Crocs. It's a thing.
What?
Okay, I don't know how many pairs. And this is totally not sponsored yet. I mean, I probably have 6. Well, actually, I know I have 6 pairs of
Where do you get
Crocs.
the little danglies?
All over. You can buy them so many places. You can get them custom made.
I've heard about sport mode.
Yeah, I never wear mine in sport mode.
My dad is really obsessed with sport mode.
I guess it's a thing. I don't really do. I'm always like full on clog. I'm like a Croc clog girl. Like,
okay,
the thing is flipped forward. I slide in, I slide out. I'm quick and easy. There's Tucker.
Tucker's so cute.
I know, he's so cute. Anyway, so I love Crocs. So I decided that on the Paula Peralta show that every guest is gonna get a pair of Crocs.
No, wait, these are my first pair.
Yes.
So I don't have any.
So I chose the Crocs that I feel like you would like.
I'm excited.
And so that's why I asked you what size shoe you wore.
What? I'm lit right now. I thought that was some astrology thing.
So I bought you these ones.
Thank you. You know what's so funny?
They're kind of...
You know what came to my mind?
What?
Was platform.
Yes.
Like,
aren't those so
look
good?
at my shoes now.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Wait, this is dope. I can't wait to rock these.
And you're going to.
Yeah.
Like, I went in the store and I was like, okay, if I were to get Sabrina a pair of Crocs, which is what's happening right now. Like,
I'm actually wearing platform sandals right now.
Yes, I know. You should hold them up. They're not Crocs. They're Prada. Just so we're clear.
One time for the one time. But still.
Speaking of vibing and cruising, we're going to be cruising. She was cruising in her Prada, so she's going to start cruising in her Crocs.
Wait, I'm excited about this.
Oh, they're amazing.
My dad is going to be elated that you put You know how long my dad's been trying to get me to get Crocs?
We'll see. You just needed the right moment.
I'm just going to be like, yeah, Dad, it was on camp. Okay.
Heaven, right? Okay, Crocs.
These are comfortable.
Right? That's why I'm obsessed.
Listen, we have to go get pedicures now. All right, I'm a Croc girl now.
You are officially.
You saw it here first.
Welcome to the club.
Oh my gosh, no free foot shots though.
Yeah.
I need a pedicure.
Yeah, right. Okay, we'll just like blur the bottom part of the frames. I'm currently in no shoes, so it's fine.
Oh my god, thank you.
Oh my god, of course.
Wait, I love that. This is gonna be a feature on your show.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Everybody gets a pair of Crocs.
Amazing. Let me put these things in sport.
Yeah, those ones I think like these are the first ones that I think I would fully put in.
First of all, these are comfortable.
Yes, that's the thing is like I've had like reels on social media where I've had shots where I'm like pumping up the chair and like it's a close shot of the Crocs, and I've been dragged on the internet for the Crocs. Dragged, which I don't care because listen, I'm just living my life and my back don't hurt at the end of a full day in the salon.
Wait, people get upset. I thought that Crocs were actually like they're doing a thing with UGG now.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Crocs are cool, but I feel like we make them even cooler. Like you talk about my fancy Crocs. But yeah, like no, people were just like, ew, no Crocs in the salon, blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, just because you ain't got no style, don't be mad. Okay? If you ain't got no style,
Crocs in the salon.
Yeah. Boo.
All right.
Boo. That's why I open my own salon.
That's why I'm gonna wear these. When I go back to work,
so cute,
when I'm done in LA, I'm gonna wear these my first day back.
Full disclosure. Okay, I love that. Thank you. So full disclosure, when you told me I'm wearing 11 as well.
No way.
We some big-footed girls up in here.
I know.
But
I thought my height would catch up. Never did. That's so sad. Never did.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'8".
Oh, okay.
I'm 5'7" and 3/4".
But you like present tall. Like you got big energy.
I appreciate that. I have really big features and a big mouth and a big personality.
So like the universe just had to balance you out a little bit, not make you too tall.
I had to be humble.
Not make you too tall.
I had to be humbled some way.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Crocs, and I actually bought myself a pair of those ones.
Did you really?
Yes, because I was like, these are so cute. And
I love that you have 6 pairs.
Yeah, now 7. Now 7. By the end of this, I might have, who knows, 10 or 12.
Every time you go, you're going to get some new ones?
If you're listening to this.
That should be the real sponsor.
Right? You want to sponsor the next season,
That
Crocs?
should be the real sponsor.
Anyway, thanks so much for coming and having this conversation. This was super fun.
Yeah, it was dope.
It's good. It's always
Happy
good to chat.
be here.
So if you like the Paula Peralta show, make sure that you do all the things that you're supposed to do. Click subscribe on YouTube. Tell your friends. You can see all this beautiful information here in the ticker that is going to be produced post show. But Sabrina, thank you so much for being here. Sabrina the Hair Witch on Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok.
Oh, is it Sabrina the Hair Witch?
Sabrina the Hair Witch.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because on brand.
Yeah.
Like, why would you have...
Keep it simple.
You would have... Speaking of squaring up, you would have squared up to somebody if they had Sabrina the Hair Witch, right?
That would have sucked. That would have sucked. I would have actually been really sad. Like, I don't want to be Sabrina the Hair Witch _
Sabrina _ the Hair Witch.
Yeah.
Sabrina the Hair Witch 55427.
That's actually really lucky someone didn't have it because I was late to the game on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Same.
Yeah, that's lucky.
How much would you have paid for Sabrina the Hair Witch?
$0. I would have been sad and I would have got over it.
And then been Sabrina the Hair Witch _ 55427.
Yeah. At the end of the day, look, you can hold my page hostage. I don't know, homie. I don't know. You can have it. I don't know. I have a good life in real life.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're like, I have a good life. I don't need Sabrina the Hair Witch on TikTok.
I mean, I desperate, like, I now get paid on social media, so I know I'd be a little hurt. Yeah. But I pay for social media insurance.
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I pay for Notch insurance. So basically, if somebody ever hacks you, they work to get your account back. And then if you make money on your social media, so like I'm a L'Oreal Pro ambassador, so I obviously get paid for posts and things like that. If you ever get hacked or you get locked out, I pay $17 a month, and then they will work to get your account back, and then they'll pay you for your loss of income for like 30 days because they believe that they'll get your account back in that time. It's called Notch. So if you make money on social media, you should pay
social
for it.
Media insurance.
If you make more than $17, if you make $18 a month from your social media, then it's worth it.
Yeah, good point.
Or even if you have an Amazon storefront.
That's on price transparency.
100%. Exactly. On brand. That was for free.
She's many things. Most of all, consistent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless.
Stay cool. Have a great summer. Don't ever change. I love it. All right. Well, that's it. Anything else you want to share with the people?
No, I love being here. Thanks for having me.
I love having you here. It was good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited you're excited about the Crocs.
Oh yeah, I'm pumped.
Because I know how you're about your aesthetics. So I was like, could we squeeze?
No, I wear like, first I'm going to wear these when I'm walking my dog every morning.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. Elevate every outfit.
Yeah.
With your platform sandal
Absolutely.
Crocs.
I just have on my Pradas because I'm an LA girly right now.
Yeah, well.
You know?
There you go.
Playing pretend.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.